Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Thank you all for joining us. This is Dima, and I've got my wonderful outdoor audience here with us on Victory Field every morning, weekdays at 8 a.m. and weekends 9 a.m. Let's begin today with a comfortable position, whichever one you choose, either on your back or on your belly or seated. We've also gotten this little noisy thing going on in the background, but we are embracing it. Let your bodies begin to feel the earth beneath you. Let the experience of earth begin to pull the energy downwards. So that you can even visualize the energy descending downwards from the crown of the head, down through the neck, into the chest, into the belly, and all the way down through your hips, letting the sits bones that are in contact with the ground kind of become the gateway of that connection with the earth. Find the breath. Notice if there are any constrictions around your body, your chest or your belly, your throat. And imagine that any kind of constriction that you find is simply there to unwind. And the breath itself will help it unwind. So the way I like to work with it is by elongating the breath. And softening the belly. And opening up the senses to receive what's here. While at the same time inviting the in-breath to pull from the center of the earth and the out-breath to release any tension or constriction back down into the ground. Let's do a few more breaths just like this. Notice if during this quiet time the mind began to get busy with some kind of planning. Thank it for its efforts to keep you safe. And let the logical thinking mind also take a little bit of a break by descending downwards, energetically speaking, into the heart. Feel your heart. Soften your heart. And then very gently start to bring your palms towards one another and rub them. And place the right hand on top of the heart, the left hand on top of the right hand. And with a commitment to stay in your heart, maybe even throughout the rest of the day, listen to your heart. Throughout your actions, your words, your thoughts. We open with the sound of Om. First a cleansing breath. Inhale. As you slowly open your eyes, start to become acquainted with your shoulders by rolling them up and down and around. And then invite your arms upwards. Make fists with hands, circle wrists around. And in the other direction. Sorry, Instagram, that we lost you for a bit. We're back. And then return. With the hands down on the ground, find your way into a standing position. And start to take your arms overhead with the in-breath. And with the out-breath, begin to let the circular motion become a bit more expansive. Maybe the elbows bend as you do this. Maybe not. And then take your time to switch directions. And as you do this, let there be a sense of this like expansiveness. Maybe you even look up. And release down. Switching directions as it feels comfortable, let it be organic. And at one point, allow the body to start to take some side bending to the right, back to center, and to the left. And let the arms and let the shoulders, let the expression of the body find its own rhythm. Maybe even holding this stretch on one side if it feels appropriate. And then the other. And then at one point, reach both arms all the way up. And take your right arm and let it expand back, followed by the left. Bringing both hands to the hips. Into a twist, your gaze goes to the left hand and the right hip. And then you expand that left arm all the way up. Let your gaze follow it. Let the right arm also follow as you finally twist to the other side, taking right hand to left hip. Look down. Look up. Follow the fingertips on the right hand all the way through into a twist. And back to center. And to the other side. Now each time that you do this, you might start to bend your knees a little onto the twist. Let's do this a few more times and let your shoulders, let your arms really gain from this fluidity. And eventually, as you return to the center, maybe you interlace the hands behind the back and open through the chest. Maybe the interlacing doesn't feel great, and you place your hands on top of your sacrum instead. And then let the neck kind of do what it wants to do. Delighting in the breath. And then at some point, start to allow for some rolling motions forward as you go up and around. And then let these motions be kind of organic to follow the rhythm of your own body. And we're all going to eventually meet back at center to prepare for a forward, kind of a fold into a squat. So you separate the feet wide enough so that there is enough of a base. You draw the hips back into a squat. The hands are on the thighs. You arch the tailbone back and tilt, kind of let the belly drop, opening through the chest like a cow pose. Inhale. And on the exhale, we curl through the spine, bringing the hands to the inner thighs, looking down. Beautiful. Inhale, open. Heart and throat, shoulders relax. And exhale, you curl. Do that 2 more times. In. And out. In and out. And do that as much as you need to before descending into a bent knee forward fold. So at some point you might start to release the hands down, maybe bending and extending through the legs, taking it easy into that forward fold, letting the head rock side to side. And I like to move, keep my knees bent and move so that the hands come all the way over to one side into a little bit of a twist, keeping both fingertips on the ground into a nice squat here. And then back to center and to the other side. Taking it easy in terms of our movements as we get more and more acquainted with the body and how it is doing today. Coming back into a forward fold, shake the head no and yes. Take a deep in breath and out breath. With the next in-breath, come up into a halfway lift. Keep your squat, bring your fingertips onto your shins, or plant your elbows on your thighs. See which one feels better for you. This can always be your halfway lift if it feels better. And then come back into a forward fold and start to expand the hips a little bit higher up. And then alternate between this halfway lift and a forward fold a couple more times. Notice how I'm bending my knees when I'm coming up into a halfway lift. I'm not locking my knees. And then eventually dropping the hips plenty, finding a squat, holding the squat, and then lifting the chest with the hands on the hips for 3, 2, 1. Release back down into a forward fold and step back to a plank pose. As you arrive onto your plank pose, start to bend one knee at a time so that the right knee's coming down to the ground and then the left knee's coming down to the ground. And then take your way back into your downward facing dog. Maybe you separate your feet a little bit wider. Maybe one leg reaches up and then the other leg reaches up so that you're just getting acquainted with the length of the legs. And some movements back and forth, alternating between plank and a downward dog. Now I'd like you to drop the knees down to the ground and make your way into a child pose. Maybe you separate the knees a little bit wider. Maybe you rotate around the hips just a little bit before a full child pose. And once you get there, just give yourself to the earth completely. There's such beauty in a full surrender to the ground. And sometimes when I am feeling anxious for no reason, I stop everything and just find my way onto the ground and lie face down on the ground to resource. You can visualize the center of our planet. Calm, energy, cool. And with each in-breath, kind of take it in. And with each out-breath, handing it over all of your troubles. And slowly return into a table pose. Find your way into a stacking of the joints and elongate the right leg back, flexing the right ankle for a lift, and keep that expression of dialing the hip down so that the hips are aligned as you expand your left arm forward, keeping the thumb facing up. Keep your gaze down, crown of the head is nice and long. Inhale here, and on the exhale, bring the knee towards the chest and the left elbow towards the left hip. Inhale, elongate back. And exhale, bend. And again. See if you can find a micro bend in that right elbow so that it's not locking. Notice how I've gotten rid of a mat underneath me here on the grass. It actually feels better to be on the grass if you don't mind the grass's dampness. And finally, expanding arm, expanding leg, feeling your own core center for 5. Relax your shoulders. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the knee. Come on up onto your knees. Make fists with hands, circle wrists around. Taking a deep in-breath together and out-breath together. Interlace the hands behind the back once again. Find that opening in the chest like we did standing up. Inhale, press the hips forward more. And exhale, release back down. Find your table. And let's do this on the other side. You lengthen the left leg back. And at first, you might even play around with stacking left hip on top of right and then releasing it so you can find that place of parallel hips. Keep drawing your chest forward. Try not to collapse in your lower back. And once you've found that place, you can expand your right arm forward, thumb facing up. Inhale. And on the exhale, find that same pulling of the knee towards chest. And again. Notice how the slow motion is actually pretty strengthening to the core, to the body. How the body starts to shake a little bit, especially under that left hand. Two more times. And then hold it. Squeeze your glutes for 5. Pull out of collapsing in your lower back. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come on back up onto your knees. Make fists again, circle wrists. Deepen breath together. And with the out breath, start to shake those wrists. Beautiful. Let's make our way now into downward facing dog. Planting hands and finding that expression of the hips back. And take your time to reach the right leg up towards the sky with the inhale. The exhale, bring the knee to the chest like we did in table. Shoulders come over the wrists. Inhale, elongate back. On the exhale, the knee comes to the chest. You hold it for 3, 2, 1. Then you step the right foot towards the right thumb and make your way into a runner lunge. Here, expanding those arms back, allowing the fingertips to reach back. Crown of the head elongates forward. Take a deep in-breath together. On the out-breath, rise up into your crescent, bend the back knee, and find that tucking of the pelvis under. And then play around a little bit by extending your left heel back again and hinging forward, extending the fingertips back, and then coming back up, tucking pelvis under, bending left knee, and rising. Inhaling as you rise and exhaling as you hover. The next in-breath, rise, bend the back knee, tuck pelvis under. On the out-breath, bring your right hand to your right hip. And then take your way, the same way that we did before, but this time you're coming into a twist, taking left wrist on top of right thigh. Or over, up and over. Feel the twist here. Then take your right hand to your right rib cage area and see if you can kind of use it to twist a little bit deeper from the rib cage. Now extend the right arm all the way up with the in-breath. On the out-breath, bring the palms towards one another. And then with the palms together connected, rise up into crescent, bend the back knee, circle the arms around, and take a dip down of the back knee, curling through the biceps. Inhale, rise up again. Exhale, hinge from the hips, taking left wrist on top of right thigh. Inhale, twist deeper, like as if your hand was on your right rib cage. Exhale, palms come together. Inhale, rise, bend back knee, tuck pelvis under. Circle arms through and dip. Let's do that 2 more times. In. Out. In. Out. In. And out. And the final dip, hold it for 3, squeeze your glutes, 2, and 1. Lower the back knee all the way down, toe heel that right foot towards the right, as much as it's comfortable for your hip. And then bring your hands down onto the ground and start to kind of shift back and forth and around just to get into your right hip a little bit. The toes are facing outwards. You might walk your right foot to the right even more so that there isn't any constriction on that knee. And then as you shift back and forth, there might be an opportunity to extend the leg. And letting that right hamstring really get a nice little stretch. And maybe at one point, you hold that expansion of the leg all the way back, if it doesn't feel too bad on your left knee. Coming back to the center, allow your left toes to turn under and extend your right leg back. Find a plank. Take yourself into a Chaturanga Dandasana. Maybe your knees drop as you lower all the way down to the ground for Baby Cobra. As you open the heart, taking Baby Cobra with an expansiveness in the chest, elbows draw back. And on the exhale, pressing yourself back up through table to downward facing dog. Deep in breath and out breath. And the left leg slowly rises up.
Inhale here, and on the exhale, the knee comes towards the chest as you curl. Inhale back again. And the knee comes to the chest for 3, 2, 1. Step it forward and hover in your runner lunge. See if that hovering can really draw your hips back, your chest forward, and really expand your arms back. Take the arms overhead with the in-breath, bend the back knee, tuck pelvis under. And on the out-breath, hinge again from the hips, elongate your arms back. Amy, can I have your watch? Inhale, bend back knee. Amy was like walking away, and I'm like, don't go, I need your watch. And hinge again. Thank you. One last time with the in-breath. And on the out-breath, left hand comes to the hip. And we hinge, hinge, hinge. First, elongate the right arm forward. Then take the right wrist up and over the left thigh. Find the twist. Take the left hand to the rib cage and help it twist. Yes, like hold your rib cage and help it twist. Then expand the left arm up. Take a deep, full in-breath here. With the out-breath, the palms come back together. The inhale rises you up as you bend the back knee. And then you dip, circling the arms around, biceps curl. Inhale, rise. Exhale, twist. Inhale, open up that twist. Find that rib cage, twist from it. Exhale, palms together. Inhale, rise. Bend back knee, tuck pelvis under. Then find that dip. Feel your left heel on the ground really working with the earth, especially as you dip. Inhale. Exhale. In. Circle and dip. 2 more. Last one, my left leg is on fire. How is your left leg? Last time. And bend, 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 bend. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Lower the knee all the way down. Toe heel the left foot towards the left. So you can find that hip opener. Then plant your hands down on the ground, shoulders over wrists. And start to take that shifting forward and back, extending through the left thigh. And finally, holding the hamstring stretch to your degree of comfort. Without overextending the left knee. And coming back, planting palms under your shoulders, curl the back toes under, and extend the legs back into a plank pose. Here I'd like to do a few push-ups. The knees can drop, the chest can draw forward, pelvis tucks under with the chest drawn forward. And we lower to halfway and press up, elbows point directly back. Inhale down, exhale up. Let's do 10 more. Keep it slow. Feel the shaking. Three, 2, and 1. Lower all the way to the ground. Activate shoelace sides of the feet. Open yourself up into cobra. Elbows extend back. And now extend the arms sideways too. Squeeze those shoulder blades muscles towards one another. Squeeze your glutes muscles. And next, lift your legs off the ground. Locust pose. See if you can really draw length before height. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Plant hands. Press yourself back up through table to downward facing dog. Child pose is always available to you, remember. And now as we shift forward and back between a plank and a downward dog, we're going to bend the knees a lot, press hips back. Inhale back, exhale forward into plank. Inhale back, exhale forward into plank. Now the next time that you bend your knees and press your hips back, dial your heels to the right. Find that stretch in the left side body and then press forward into plank. Inhale back, dial heels to the left and forward into plank. Notice how when I'm dialing the heels down, I'm coming up onto the tippy toe of that left foot and opening up the left knee and then pressing forward. One last time on each side. Beautiful. Find a regular downward facing dog with the inhale. And bend the knees, press hips back, look forward. On the out breath, hop forward or walk forward. Finding your forward fold. Hold into the forward fold. Shake the head no and yes. Maybe circle your wrists around. And then rise up one vertebra at a time. 2 arms expand overhead. Deep breath in. And on the out, palms come to heart space. Take your time to find just some subtle motions throughout the hips before resettling back into your stance. Shift your weight to the left leg, finding a balance. Now you might decide that you want to be on your tippy toe on the entire balance, or lift your right knee up towards the chest. Extend your left arm all the way up with the in-breath. And with the out breath, find a twist to the right. You grab a hold of your right thigh. Keep length going upwards through the crown of the head. Maybe the right arm extends back. This is where I like to stand on the grass directly. You might try that, Cheryl. You'll see it's much easier. Now bring your right hand back to your hip and start to focus on extending the right leg and bending it. At one point, you might enjoy gaining access to your left shin as you extend your leg and then re-extend your right arm. Maybe circling that right ankle around. Looks funny on camera. I watched it the other day. Beautiful. Now from here, I'm going to have you step back into your warrior two. So you're going to land the foot back, find that warrior two, and reverse it with a deep in-breath. On the out-breath, hinge back to center and prepare to take your side angle. Taking your left arm down as you open up through the chest and letting that right arm expand up, radiating energy through the right fingertips. Maybe you look up and down, kind of see how that feels on your neck. And from here, we're coming into your triangle. Remember that that left knee is not to be overextended. Prepping from here to come into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Now, most of us don't have blocks. You can either use your water bottle, or you can try to balance without the block at all. So what I would prefer not to see is a complete collapsing into the ground. So as much as possible, see if you can keep a micro bend in that left knee. Maybe even bend the right knee to begin with. Stacking hips. Squeezing your left glute as much as you can. And then extending your right leg back. For 5, 4, 3, squeeze the pelvic floor, 2, and 1, and land the foot back into your warrior 2, and come into a wide-legged stance, facing the side of the mat, into a wide-legged forward fold. And really start to enjoy that forward fold. Taking any motions of side lunges. Or simply enjoying the calm grounding that happens from forward folds. It's so grounding. And then imagine that any thought pattern that has been noticeable to you in the last few days, if you've been aware of your thought pattern, any thought pattern that hasn't been serving you, it's really as simple as deciding, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. It's not helpful. And just imagine energetically that it's just leaving the crown of the head down towards the ground. Life is short. And we can choose not to suffer. There's enough suffering in the world. We don't have to inflict suffering on ourselves through our thought patterns. Take another couple of breaths there. And then slowly make your way over into a runner lunge on the left side. Arriving there, take a deep breath in, and on the out breath, extend the left leg back into a three-legged dog. Maybe you bend the knee to dial the hip open. Maybe you even flip your dog, situating your legs hip distance apart, pressing your hips up. Look at the sky. Coming back to the center. Finding your three-legged dog again. Inhale. On the exhale, releasing back down. Bending the knees, hips press back. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, either walk or float forward into a forward fold. Slowly rise up, either slowly uncurling or rising with a straight spine, depending on what feels good for your body. To arms reach overhead eventually. Inhale. And exhale, palms to heart space and to the hips. And we'll take the balance on the right side, shifting your weight into the right foot, left knee lifts. Right arm follows upwards. And the twist. And then here, just take your way into any expression that you wish. If you liked the bending and extending of the left leg, do it again. Keep your gaze somewhere stable. Feel the breeze. Beautiful. And from here, step back into your warrior two. Find the strength of the warrior stance with the base on the ground, luxuriating from the energy of the earth as you reverse your warrior, taking it in. On the out, returning back to center, and begin to hinge, 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 hinge all the way through before taking your side angle. Coming into triangle pose, right fingertips come to the shin as you elongate the right leg. Making your way into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Shift your weight into the right leg. Notice how the shaking is actually okay, and the falling is actually okay too. Just come back into it, regain access to the balls of the feet and the heel. Keeping gaze down on something stable helps. Relax your shoulders, relax your heart space. For 3, 2, 1. Bend the right knee, land the left foot back. Situate yourself in a wide-legged stance for a wide-legged forward fold. notice this space which contains all movement. There is something containing everything, space. Now notice the stillness too that is behind all things, even if they seem to be moving. And then slowly return back into your runner lunge onto the right side. And then toe heel the right foot to the outside of the right hand. And walk the left foot to the outside of the left hand for a squat, yogi squat. Making your way into a seated position eventually. And allowing your knees to bend with the feet a bit more forward. Bending the knees all the way to the right. Take your left hand and let it follow all the way through into a twist. Come back to center. And going to the other side, let it follow all the way through into a twist. The next time that you come to center, find either your mermaid pose or, so mermaid is just like this, and maybe you just send your elbows down and stay for a while, or you resituate yourself into a full half pigeon. That sounds funny. And notice how if you bring your left knee to the side in your half pigeon and just collapse into your right side body, that becomes mermaid again, and it's might be a little easier on some bodies. Decide which one feels better for you. In our teacher training last year, one person always preferred this, and kind of when he discovered it, it like changed everything for him. He was never able to do this pose before. And know that you don't actually have to go all the way down to the ground with this. You can keep your heart elevated. And we'll stay for 3 breaths. Nice, long 3 breaths. Every bird sound that you hear, imagine that it's calling you to now, that it's saying now, now, now. And as you slowly get out of the pose, you can wrap that leg around, transitioning into some rocking motions like we did before. And eventually onto the left side into either mermaid or the full expression of that half pigeon. I wish we could stay longer in half pigeon. I'm still getting acclimated with this 1 hour limit. 3 more breaths. Coming back through center as you lift your chest, wrap your right leg around, making your way onto your backs for a final pose. A twist is a beautiful way to end the practice. Knees to chest as they drop to the right. Back through center as they drop to the left. And coming through to the center for your Shavasana as you let your body gain access to the ground fully. Allow your body to notice the support of the ground once again. Pulling from it with each in-breath. Filling your body with earth. With each out-breath, letting the energy spread outwards through your heart, through your fingertips, through your toes. The birds are calling us back. Come back home. To this either staying exactly where you are or deciding to roll over onto your side to come back into a seated position for the close of the practice. Either way is fine. Hands land on top of the heart. Mind drops into the heart. We bow to this gathering and to each other, and to our planet, and all beings within it. And we close with the sound of Om, the cleansing breath. Inhale. Thank you for allowing me to teach you today. The love that I am acknowledges and bows to the love that you are. Namaste. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you for practicing with me.